How many of you remember August? That was the same response I got in first service, yes. What we remember about August is it was hot. The other thing about August here is that we celebrated my really summer reading list. And every single week we explored a book or pieces of a book, the highest of the highlights out of a book that I either had read and loved or hadn't read yet but wanted to and thought this would be a good excuse for me to get that book read so I could share from it. And on August 14th specifically, I made a promise to you. Does anybody remember what that promise was that I made on August 14th? Oh, look at that. She's so meek and soft-spoken up here, but you got it that nobody heard but me, I'm quite sure. But yes, I was going to do a whole month on the prosperity book that I used that one particular week. So does that ring a bell now to anybody else? Okay, thank you. Please just tell me yes anyway. Just appease me and say, oh, yes, of course, I remember that. This book called Prosperity that has many different covers. Mine is old, so this is my cover of the book. The cover of the book we have in the bookstore has a different cover. The sign that we used to create that it's on sale has yet a different cover, so it's been printed many, many times. It's a book from Charles Fillmore, co-founder of the Unity Movement, co-founded that with his wife, Myrtle. This is a rich, pun-intended book on abundance. It is really deep and profound, even though it's written in some language that might be a little seemingly outdated and maybe a little bit hard to understand and follow. But if you read Ernest Holmes, you're used to that, so this won't be that hard to decipher what it is he's saying. Deep and rich for developing an abundance consciousness. And so I promised on August 14th that we would, when we spent 1 week on this book, that we would spend an entire month. Well, September was already planned, October was already planned, and here we are. November is here. So this month, the whole month, we're going to deepen into this great book, and I invite you, if you'd like to follow along, to get it if you don't have it already. And this month it happens to be on sale, so there you go. It's even a deal. So again, this book helps us move into a state of abundance consciousness. So probably we ought to get on the same page of what is abundance consciousness. And we all may have our different view and definition of what that means, but I would love us to be on the same page as that. So would you like to be on the same page as that? Yes. Good, I'm glad. Why not? Might as well, right? Because it's going to actually form the foundation for our whole month together. So here's how I'm defining abundance consciousness. Abundance consciousness is thinking from, feeling from, believing from, speaking from, acting from, reacting from a certain place that says, well, that's actually where we're going to go today. I'm going to tell you what that place says today. So we will define abundance consciousness as we explore today. But really, that place from which we think and feel and believe, speak, act and react, that place from which we come is the key to it all. The key to living in the steady, regular flow of abundance. Now, I want us to make sure that we have an expanded definition of abundance and that we're not just thinking abundance as in money, which abundance is money, sure, it's part of it, but that's not all it is. An abundance of all good things, as Ernest Holmes said in the quote that I shared at the beginning of this service. An abundance of all that makes life here on earth worthwhile. So that includes an abundance of friendship, and an abundance of health and vitality, and an abundance of purposeful work or activity, an abundance of love, an abundance of joy, right? An abundance of peace. And yes, an abundance of financial good so that we can get whatever needs, wants, and desires met that we have. So is that good for an expanded definition of abundance? That's what we mean by abundance consciousness. And when we learn to come from that place in our thinking and our feeling and our beliefs and our words and our actions and our reactions, when we learn to come from that place, that is the key to it all. So I have good news and I have great news. The good news is we have found the key to the universe. Great news. The greater news is the universe isn't locked. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. But sometimes we are. We are locked. We are closed off. We are not open to the goodness that is right in front of us. So I want you to think about right now, just get a picture in your mind's eye of a key. Put it in your hand. Look at it. See? You see it? It's right there. Yeah, now I want you to hold it up and let me see it. Come on, I see your key. Ooh, look at all those cool keys. It's red. We had some with streamers coming off of them in first service. All right. So I want you to take your key, and I want you to put it right here and go click, because you're opening your mind. All right? And then I want you to go here, click, because I want you to open your heart. So open mind, open heart. Listen to this. Charles Fillmore speaks on page 21 of Prosperity. He says, this is going to take us to that place. Even though there seems to be material lack, anybody know what that means? You know, there seems to be material lack. Somebody who's had an experience of seeming material lack, right? Mm-hmm. Even though there seems to be material lack, there is plenty of substance for all. We are standing in the very midst of it. Like the fish, we might ask, where is the water? When we live and move and have our being in it, abounding, glorious, spiritual substance. I think it's very powerful and very helpful to look at the etymology, I love that word, etymology of words, meaning, the origin of words. And the word substance comes from a Latin word substare, S-U-B-S-T-A-R-E. And it means to stand under. So substance is standing under everything. Or as our founder Ernest Holmes would say, is standing back of, right? Or good, right? I saw Dustin mouth that. Yes, Ernest refers to back of. Well, same thing. Standing under everything. There is an energy, a non-material, energetic essence at the core of everything, on which everything is built and on which everything stands. And science is finding it now. They're proving it. You know, we have sophisticated measuring tools enough now that we know that in between matter, in between substance, in between materials, the molecules, the atoms, the subatomic particles, in between, there's something else. It's a force. It's an energy. It's the energetic, non-material essence of all things. I love it when science confirms what we, as metaphysicians, have always known. That's what substance is. The non-material, energetic essence beneath, around, and through everything. So I'm hoping that going back to the definition of the word substance, the original origin, really, of the word substance, helps us unlock that door, open it a little bit wider in our brain, in our minds, and in our hearts to this idea. So, again, I want to read the passage from Charles. I did have somebody in first service who comes from the Unity background said, Charles would have been proud of you this morning. So I like that. That was cute. So again, the passage on page 21. Even though there may seem to be lack, there is plenty of substance, non-material, energetic essence, for all. Plenty of substance for all. We are standing in the very midst of it. Like the fish, we might ask, where is the water when we live and move and have our being in it? Abounding, glorious, spiritual substance. It's here. It's now. It's everywhere present. Fillmore goes on to write, as you lay hold of substance with your mind, and I'll add with your heart, you realize your oneness with it. So I want us to do that right now, as a matter of fact. I invite you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. It'll help block out distractions. You won't be thinking about the beautiful decorations on our stage, which are gorgeous, but I don't think about those right now. Just take a deep breath. Deeply breathe. Let your body sink into the idea that you are one with substance. You are one with that which stands underneath everything. You are one with the non-material, energetic essence that is everywhere and absolutely unending. So say to yourself softly, inside your head, I am one with substance. I am one with substance. Keep your eyes closed. Stay in that field. Stay in that energy. Stay with hearts and minds opened. As Fillmore continues, he says, you are unified with the one living substance, which is God, your all-sufficiency. Take another breath. Open your heart and your mind a little bit more. Let that idea sink into your body. And this time say aloud, I am unified with the one living substance, which is God, my all-sufficiency. I am unified with the one living substance, which is God, my all-sufficiency. Breathe that in. Deeper. Anchoring it deeper. Opening the doors of heart and mind wider. Staying inside your space with eyes closed. I want you to listen now to these further words of Fillmore. Take these in. From this substance you were created. In it you live and move and have your being. By it you are fed and prospered. The spiritual substance is steadfast and immovable, enduring. It does not fluctuate with market reports. It does not decrease in hard times or increase in good times. It is ever the same, constant, abundant, freely circulating, and available. The spiritual substance is a living thing, not an inanimate accumulation of bread that does not satisfy hunger, nor water that fails to quench thirst. It is living bread and living water. And when we feed on God's substance, we shall never hunger and never thirst. The substance is an abiding thing, not a bank account that can be withdrawn, nor a future that can be lost. It is an unfailing principle that is as sure in its workings as the law of mathematics. We can no more be separated from our supply of substance than life can be separated from its source. As God permeates the universe and life permeates every cell of the body, so does substance flow freely through us. Those are some powerful words. Come back with me now into this room. As we have breathed them in, taken them in, open our hearts and our minds to really get them. This is what abundance consciousness is. Abundance consciousness is thinking from, feeling from, believing from, speaking from, acting from, reacting from a place that says, from substance I was created. In substance I live and move and have my being. By substance I am fed and prospered. This substance is steadfast and immovable, enduring, ever-present, constant, abundant, freely circulating, and available. That's abundance consciousness. Did you get it? Do you have it? You got it in your brain, right? You know what it is? You could repeat it to me right now? Oh, no? You didn't get that? Dang. So I had an idea in first service, and Deborah Covington, there she is again, she noted it that's a pretty darn good definition, and maybe it would be helpful if you had it written down on a sheet, a little piece of paper, right? A little something to carry around along with your other things we've given out lately. So would you like to get that, like next week? Good. Next week, we will have that definition of abundance consciousness so you can keep it as a reminder. But in the meantime, we're going to anchor it right now. We're going to anchor it by saying it out loud with feeling, with power. And if you want to be in your power stance, you feel free to do that. You guys know what that means. So here we go. From substance I was created. In substance I live and move and have my being. By substance I am fed and prospered. Substance is steadfast and immovable. Enduring, ever the same. Constant, abundant. Freely circulating and always available. Yes. Always available. Not sometimes, and so it is. Not sometimes. Not for certain people, but not others. Not if you do this or do that, right? It's always available. The only reason we don't experience it is because we have locked the door. But you have your key now, and you've unlocked your mind and your heart. You know that key. You know what that key looks like. So if you ever find yourself closing down again, just unlock. I love these words from Eric Butterworth in his great book, Spiritual Economics, another powerful, powerful book on abundance consciousness. But he says, watch your spiritual priorities. The goal should not be to make money or acquire things, but to achieve the consciousness through which substance will flow forth when and as you need it. Acquire the consciousness through which substance will flow forth when and as you need it. And because I do love to adjust quotes, I adjust my own. I want to adjust the quote from Eric here. Inspired by our amazing, beautiful self-care class that Reverend Sherry is teaching right now. I'm in the morning class, and in last Thursday morning's class, we talked about need versus want. Sometimes we think all we can have are our needs. I just get my needs met, and it's not okay to want. It's not okay to have a desire for something. I want to say that it is okay to have a want and have a desire, because we're always expanding. Ernest Holmes said in that quote I shared at the beginning of service is that when we are fully expressed and continuing to express, spirit is expressed. So it's okay to have more than needs. So I would like to tweak a bit this Butterworth statement that says we want to achieve the consciousness through which the substance will flow forth when and as you need, want, and desire it. Yes? Yes. Because you deserve to have that which you desire. I want to give you two practices this morning for opening up more and more and more this abundance consciousness and living from a constant flow of substance in form, whatever that form looks like for you, whether it's love or whether it's finances or whether it's ideas or whether it's friendship, whatever it might be. The first one you hear about all the time. You've heard me speak about it a lot, but it's Thanksgiving month. It's a good month to speak of. The idea of being grateful for the way substance has already formed and shown up in your life. There are so many ways that we don't even pay any attention to, and we just take it for granted. We just zip along in our lives, and we totally take it for granted. This month, my invitation to all of us is to get so grateful, because gratitude opens up the flow even more. So we gave out a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think, gratitude journals, yes? To do 40 days of gratitude leading up to Thanksgiving. I hope that you're doing that. Every day, write down 10 things you're grateful for. And here's another one. We're introducing it today, and this is not just for this month. We want to keep this going. Out in the foyer to the north side is you may have noticed it when you came in, a beautiful glass jar. Thank you, Susan Peacock, who did this for us last year. or the year before, I'm not sure. It's a glass jar, and it has etched around the front of it the word gratitude. There are forms next to that for you to fill out. And the form is for one or however many things you want to say. One great thing that happened to you this week. One way you saw God's good flowing in your life. Write it down in celebration. And celebration is, of course, a way to be grateful. Write it down, put it in the jar. I want to see that jar overflowing. Because I know how much good happens in our lives that we just let flip by. So when you come here now on a Sunday morning, come a tiny bit early so you can fill out that form for the past week and put it in. Now there's a question at the bottom of it, and yes is a perfectly lovely answer, and no is just as lovely. So whichever it is for you is A-okay. But the question is, may we share your testimonial, if you will, with the congregation? You check yes, no. What I'm going to do every now and again is I'm going to stick my hand in that jar. I'm going to pull one out. First thing I'm going to do is look at that bottom question. I'm not even going to look at whose it is. I'm going to look at that bottom question. If it's a no, I'm going to put it right back. If it's a yes, then I'm going to read it, and I'm going to share it with you. And if yours happens to be the one that got shared, there might be more good for you coming on that day. Perhaps. Perhaps more than that. I don't know. Well, you got to be here to have it read. And I'm just saying, if you're not here, you don't get the prize. So there it is. That's one way. That's one way that we can stay in abundance consciousness is gratitude. Living in a constant state of gratitude. The other way is to realize, let me expand that word, to embody what Ernest Holmes said in the quote I shared at the beginning of service, which I do not expect you to remember, and I'm going to tell it to you again. To embody this idea. Now, I'm going to read it again. And before I do, I want to just comment that I know there are a lot of shoulds in this. And what do we like to say in Science of Mind? And don't should on yourself, right? We say, don't should on yourself. All right. So this is not shoulding on yourself. That's not what this is. These words really are you deserve. Basically, this is you deserve. It's not you should. Does that make sense? So it's not like guilting you into anything. It's you deserve to do this. And when you do this, this is what's going to happen. So hear the word in that way rather than get all freaked out about all the shoulds. Okay, because he uses it like 5 times in here. It is right that we should be successful. We deserve to be successful is what he's saying here. For otherwise, the Spirit is not expressed. The divine cannot lack for anything, and we should not lack for anything that makes life worthwhile while we are here on earth. Everything that we do should be a success, and we should be led to do those things which are constructive and worthwhile. We should be led to do those things which are constructive and worthwhile. Everything we do should be a success. We deserve that. We are more fully expressing God when we do that. This speaks to giving yourself permission to have your dreams, to go for them, to achieve those dreams, knowing that you are expressing more of God when you do. We are here. We are a community that says we're here to open hearts and, thank you, incubate, dream, bring more than incubation, bring them into fruition. So I've had a dream for this community for a very long time. And I realized when I was at this feminine presence retreat last weekend that I have done a disservice to the dream, to you, and to me. Because I have not brought that dream forth. I have not led this community in such a way that that dream would be made a reality. And if I have not done it, because of something that stops a lot of us, a lot of the time. And it's that lovely 4-letter word that starts with an F. That's fear. Fear. Fear, bottom line. Tell me if you have, think. You don't have to tell me, but fear of what other people will think or say or judge you. Does that come up for anybody you know? Okay. Well, it comes up for me too. So, I've had this dream for us for a very long time, at least, actually longer than the past 10 years, but we've been in this building for 10 years. And I thought once we moved here that this dream would now manifest itself. But it didn't. And you've heard the definition of insanity, haven't you? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and expecting the same results. So for 10 years, I, as your leader, have done the same thing over and over and over and over and expected different results and haven't gotten them. And I got really clear that I have not done what I need to do as your leader. So that is finished. I'm not going to stand in our way anymore of the dream for this community. Would you like to hear what that is? Would you like to know what that is? Good. And my invitation to you is that you are on board with this. And my fear is that you're going to have all your reasons you don't want to be on board with this. And you may. And I'm going to say it anyway. My dream is that every time we come to service together, this room is so full, you can't find a seat. We're bringing in seats. We got this all filled. We've gone to 3 services because we cannot contain ourselves in 2. And that is until we knock down these walls and expand and buy that office building to the north of us, which is what's north? South of us, that building. That we are so full that is the energy in this room is amazing. So we've got 500 people, let's say, here every single Sunday. We got 100 at least watching us online. And so we've got a spiritual community that's way beyond these walls. Now, why do I want this? Here's one of my fears. People are going, oh, it's her ego. It's her ego. Feels her ego. Okay, if you want to think that, there you go. It isn't okay, maybe it's a little bit. A little bit. But that is not the reason. This message that we have changes lives. Yes. We know that, don't we? Yes. Those of you who are here and have stuck, see, the thing is we're not a sticky church. I've talked about this a couple weeks ago. We come and we go. We're in and we're out. So for 10 years, we have kind of set at the same attendance because people come in and out. We don't stick. But those of you who have stuck, for some period of time, you know the power of these teachings. Am I right about that or wrong? All right, so we're on the same page there. These teachings change lives. The deeper you go in them, the more they change your life for the better. This isn't a quick, get rich quick, Ernest Holmes says. It's not a quick fix religion. We got to go deep in it. We go deep in it, our lives transform. And the world, if you haven't noticed, could use some transformation. There are a lot of people out these walls that could use what we've got. They just don't know we're here, or we haven't created enough stickiness so that when they come, they stay. And I have not led you and us to do that because I haven't wanted to appear pushy. I haven't wanted to offend because I said this is how it's going to be and this is what we're going to do. I haven't wanted to have you think I'm witchy, but put a different letter on the front of that. I've been afraid of all of those things. And so we have done the same thing for 10 years. And here's another big one. I don't want you to think I'm unhappy with who we are and where we are, because I'm really not. We're amazing. You are amazing. This is an amazing community. We do amazing work. I just know there's more. I just know there's more for us to do. So I haven't wanted to really speak about this because I haven't wanted anybody to think, well, she's not happy. She's never satisfied. I'm happy. I am satisfied. And I don't want to play small anymore. Marianne Williamson said, remember this? She said, your playing small does not serve the world. I don't want to play small anymore. I don't want us to play play small anymore. And I am inviting you to come with me. Will you come? Yes. Will you come? If that makes you nervous, like, oh my gosh, we're going to get too big, then we'll hold your hand through that. Because there are ways to create a way larger community and have it feel even more connected than it feels right now. There are ways to do that. I know of ways to do that. I've got an amazing coach that's going to walk us through doing that. And honey, we're going to do it. And guess what? It may mean a change or two. Take a breath. It may mean a change or two. But I am ready for us to play bigger. And as your spiritual leader, we're going to do that, okay? Yes. Woo! All right. Yay. So I will unveil more of that as this month goes on and as time goes on, but we're going to launch some new things in the first of next year. We're going to lay the groundwork this rest of this year to get ready for it. So get ready. It's going to be fun. And I invite you. No, I don't invite you. I'm telling you, play, because you will benefit. Because that's one of the, I do that all the time. I invite you if you want to. It's your choice. Come on, do it. I promise you it'll be worth it. I promise you it will be worth it. So today, we're expanding our abundance consciousness by living in gratitude and by going for the dream and realizing that the world is not served by your playing small, by me playing small, by us playing small. We're going to realize that abundance consciousness says that we think and feel and believe and speak and act and react from a place that substance created us, from a place that says substance feeds us and prospers us, from a place that says substance provides all of our needs all of the time, forever, ever in that flow. That's where we're going to go this whole month. Thank you for joining me on that. It's going to be a powerful month. Right now, we've got something we need to do. And Reverend Cindy, you started it. Thank you. You don't even know what I'm going to say yet, but you started it. We're going to finish it here. We have an election coming up on Tuesday. Woohoo! Yay. So, and I know we have angst and fear and doubt and concern and upset and argument and all that, blah, blah, blah. We're going to go to a higher place, okay? You go with me on this one? I invite you to close your eyes. So the first thing we do is recognize that substance on which we stand. That non-material, energetic essence on which we stand, with which we are one. It is God, the all-sufficiency, again to quote Fillmore and Holmes. God is all there is. And every person, place, thing, event, election, outcome is God in expression. So in this moment, we are going to collectively, and I know we're not just doing this alone this morning, that there are others joining us all day. We're collectively going to rise above in consciousness the muck and the mire of the election process. And the arguments and the debates and the fights and the mudslinging and all of that that's going on, and our preference and your preference, and none of that matters right now. Of course, we each have our candidates for whom we will vote. And when we do that, if it hasn't been done already, that I affirm and accept that we go with a clear heart and a clear conscience and vote for the people that we believe in our hearts will take us to the next level. Absolutely, yes. In this moment, we rise above even that, above our opinion of what is right and wrong, and simply know that God's infinite intelligence, infinite wisdom, infinite love are present right now in this election process, and that God's infinite intelligence, wisdom, and love are in control, in charge, and that whatever the result is of the election, whether we are personally pleased or displeased, we stand in this moment in the knowing that God has our back all the time, and that everything that happens is for our evolutionary progress. Everything that happens is for our evolutionary progress, and that is what this election is all about. For us as humanity to evolve. And the more of us who know this, as we are combining our consciousnesses here today to know this, the more that evolution is sped up and occurs. So right here and right now, we blend and we marry our personal belief and our personal desire and our personal preferences for candidates with a total release and trust of source. Release to spirit. and knowing that the highest outcome is already assured. And so we're grateful for that. We stand in gratitude for that. We stand in the assurance that it is so, and we celebrate it right here and right now. And we call it good. Yes. Oh, so very, very good. And in this knowing, I release this prayer. I release this word. We go do what is ours to do with faith and confidence and release that it is done. And with that faith and confidence and complete release, we say together, and so it is. Amen.